RAD Report. RAD Report. RAD Report. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the RAD Report. Wow. I just relaunched this series and I literally have done like 3 episodes in a week. There is so much news when it comes to horror movies and physical media. It's like every day there's something else. It's craziness. So I had a crazy week so far, guys. So I am on, I don't know, in 2 days, 6 hours sleep maybe. But when I saw the news, I just getting home from work, I was like, wow, this is pretty crazy. Let me talk about it, give you my thoughts, because I see a lot of people talking about it. So I just want to give you my thoughts on it and kind of dive into it a little bit deeper with you guys, because I haven't really had a chance to look into it. I just been getting sent like a lot of articles and stuff saying like Neve Campbell is back for Screen 7 and Kevin Williamson's going to write and direct or whatever they said. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do a video tonight talking about it because I'm sure everybody else is probably giving their thoughts. So I figured, hey, let me check this out and give you my thoughts as well. There's also a little bit of news surrounding the Salem's Lot remake, which is something that I've been anticipating for a long time, but things just keep getting tossed around. Is it getting released? Is it getting canceled? What's going on? Well, we found a little bit of an update today, which I'll talk about. So again, I don't want to be on here long, but I do want to definitely interact with you guys and go through some of this stuff together. And I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, and I'll just kind of throw my 2 cents out there as well. So let me know who is in the house right now. I'll go to the chat. If you are just jumping in, make sure to hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I would love you to subscribe to enjoy some great content, some rad content that I bring to you. I absolutely love the live shows. The live shows have been doing awesome. You guys have been interacting. You've been sharing. Things have been awesome. I mean, the last one I did was a huge show, and it was just a normal bullshit rad report. So guys, thank you again so much. I guess you kind of like these news shows, so I'm kind of happy I brought back this series to the channel. So before I even start, I'm just going to jump in right now and see who's in the house. Good evening. Maybe it's Nito. How are you, bud? Blu-ray Addict, what's going on? As always, how are you? Jesse, what's up, dude? Noise Loop, what's going on? Harman Joe, thanks for popping in, man. How are you doing? Wow, yeah, this is crazy. The first movie Kevin's directed since Teaching Miss Tingle. That is wild. Remember that movie? Forgot about that, actually. Katie Holmes. What's up, Nick? I'll believe it when I'm seeing it in the theater for both movies. Correct. We'll talk about that. From screen to shelf. So again, people that I've interacted with before, but maybe me being a little bit earlier than my normal streams. More people are popping in that are usually in bed by that time. So what's up? Not sure where we go from here without explode. Carbon Sisters, good call. We will talk about that too. Holy mackerel. So Friday Night 2 on 35 milliliters, and immediately had to order the Blu-ray. So did you order the Blu-ray from like a bootleg or from overseas? Because there's definitely none available here yet. I do have a Blu-ray as well, an HD version at least. But man, Friday Night 2 is super, like, I don't want to say it's I guess it's underrated, but underappreciated. Maybe not many people have seen it because it's kind of been so hard to come by for so long, but I always loved it. I always loved it. Brent, what's up, man? Hagen K, what's up? Just wanting to the Prince of Darkness. I love the Prince of Darkness. It's one of my favorite Carpenter movies. The thing about Prince of Darkness that really intrigued me from the first time I saw it, and I said, you know, you never see this kind of stuff. And it just for me, it just really shows the kind of stuff Carpenter was doing. Prince of Darkness, and I'm sure if you've only seen it once or whatever, you might not have caught it, but the first like 20 minutes until they get into the house, like all this through the college stuff, you just hear like a subtle beat, boom, 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 like in the background for like a good 15-20 minutes. And it's just like it's setting something up. And I'm like, wow, so genius to have that. It's like it's progressively moving and you're like, okay, where is this leading to? It's just a very interesting thing. You don't usually hear like a subtle score in the back of like all this dialogue and stuff through the first 15-20 minutes of the movie. I just thought that was such a cool thing. I mean, I fell in love with that movie from the second I saw that or noticed that. I was like, wow, this is something special here. Sorry, I got lost in the chat. What's up, Sarah? How are you? Um, let me see. JC, Blu-ray in the OCs. Yes. Okay. Cool. 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 Um, I saw that Dawn of the Dead is coming back out in theaters. Like I said on my last stream, I actually said there's been rumblings of Dawn of the Dead coming back out. Now, could the rumblings have been about that? I don't know. Is there still a physical media in the works for the states? Possibly, but again, there have been a little bit of rumblings surrounding Dawn. Cobwebs, Daniel, what's up, man? Go check out Daniel, my boy. You might have remembered him from Rad Company. He opened up the season for the newest season of Rad Company, and I can announce it here, guys. The last episode of this season of Rad Company is going to be a week from tonight, and it's going to be the season finale. And then I'm going to take a little bit off, even though I did take a little bit off from this season. I was a mess, but I'm going to take a little bit of time off, and then we're going to start again. And I've already got some really cool guests for next season. But finish it off is going to be Danny over at Cinestalker. I don't know if you guys know Danny for Cinestalker, an OG in the YouTube space, an OG in the movie collecting physical media space on YouTube. Cool ass dude. I've been watching Danny, man, forever. So if you guys know Danny over at Cinestalker, he will be the next guest, I think next week on this channel. So keep your eyes peeled for the official date and time on that. But that is going to be the season finale of Rad Company this season. So I'm happy to have him. Yeah, for real. What have I been smoking tonight? Absolutely nothing. I've been smoking no sleep. It's been hectic, man. You know, with daylight savings time, and then I did some extra hours at work. So Monday, I was at work I was up at 3:45, at work at 4:45. I got home at 8:45 p.m. and then I was back up at 3:45 this morning, at work for 4:45 this morning. Worked until 5, ran out, went to dinner, got done dinner at 8, worked out till 9:30, got home, and now I am here. So those are like my last 2 days of life. And it's just been pretty hectic. So if I look like I've been smoking something, which I haven't, I've been smoking the radness. It's just I'm so tired. And if I stumble my words tonight, I apologize. But I figured, you know what? I've got a Rad Pack show tomorrow, and that's going to be on the Rad Pack YouTube channel. And I will be back on this channel on Thursday night with the boys from Dead Pit, with Ken from Mid Level Media, with Christian from Planet CHH. So come back on Thursday late night for the Vinegar Syndrome stream. So I figured, you know what? I need to have some kind of content for the channel. And I love coming on live and talking to you guys on this channel. So that's why I'm here tonight, regardless of how much sleep I got. And I want to get this short and sweet. So I'm going to scroll through the chat really quick. Let's get to the news. Let's get this done. For anybody watching the replay, I am sure that they want to get this moving and grooving just to find out what I have to say. Jennifer, what is going on? Adrian, what's up, Adrian? I'm going to scroll down. I'm scrolling. You could do like yeah, dude, actually good call. That's perfect. You ever, you know what's funny when I hear the names like Danny and all that stuff is and I'll probably say this to Danny on the stream, but I always remember Ninja Turtles from 1990. It's like one of my all-time favorite movies where the kid's name is Danny, and the whole time the dad's like, Danny, Danny. Then at the end, the kid's like, Dad, it's just Dan now. And the guy's like, Dan? Like he's never heard that word before. I always geek out when I hear that because the guy's expression is like so confused, like Dan, like so confused. So Daniel, I want you to start telling people you want to be called Dan now. Just Dan. All right, let's see. Come on, dude. Listen, I just gotta. It's just my mindset is go. Get as much stuff as I can, and then what ends up happening is I do that for so long that my body just starts to shut down. Like, when was it? It was last week sometime. I forget. And oh, and I lost my voice last week or whatever. Like I feel like that was really just like run down. Like my body was just like, all right, dude, like you're on empty, like enough. And it almost forced me to have to take time off because I couldn't speak. And it was funny because I was talking to Mel and she's like, I knew this was gonna happen. I told you, you know. But it's crazy. The Miz. Mizzy, what's up, dude? Long time no see, my man. How are you? I hope all is well. Tell Born the Rad Pack, thank you for me. I will for sure. It is. The Rad is coming back to theaters. The movie Rad. I love that movie, the 21st. Unfortunately, it's like a Thursday night, and I work late on Thursday, so I do not think I can even attend because I don't know how close it's going to be to where I am. So I'm going to have to look into it, but I'm almost positive I probably can't make it, unfortunately. I'm kind of bummed. I'm going to be more bummed if there's like exclusive swag for people who attend, and I'm going to be really bummed. Screen to shelf, Garrett. I've been meaning to ask where you would suggest getting one sheet posters authenticated. Stumble upon some potential winners, but questioning their reproductions. I don't know where I'd get them authenticated, but as you start to get in the game, you can kind of really figure out if they're real or not. So a couple things obviously is most one sheets that are done before 1990 are going to be 27 by 41. That's always a good indicator. If you have them and you see them, you can really tell because of the pixelation on some. Like it's really I've found it's very very hard to reproduce a poster to the perfection of an original. And hey, maybe there is, and if there is, please tell me the damn site because I have yet to find a website that sells repros that look as good as originals. So I don't know how to get them authenticated per se, especially if anywhere local. I have no idea. But once you get into the game, you have a pretty decent idea of like if it is or it isn't, especially if you're on eBay. Usually they'll tell you if it's original. And even if you're uncertain, think about those things. You want to look at the sizing. When did the movie come out? Folded or rolled. You know what? I always, and this is more for modern movies and maybe movies from like 2000 on. I always, if I want an original and it's like a movie that maybe came out 90s, 2000s, I'll always put double sided because in my head, I know that these are straight theater posters if they're double sided. And there's not many repros that are going to have a double sidedness to them. So I have a lot of theater posters that are double sided. And I do that mainly because it's guaranteed that these things are originals. That's something I do. As far as anything from the 80s, like I said, the sizing is a big one. There's really, really not many times you're going to see a reproduction poster at 27 by 41. And so, like, when you try to think, if I was to get reproduction posters, which I don't usually do because I just don't think they look as good. I think that they look pixelated. If they were hanging in my room, you wouldn't know. But if I walked up, like if you saw them back here, you wouldn't know. But if I walked up to them close, I could tell in 2 seconds. And I've tried, like I've had people reach out to me, be like, "Oh, this is the best site for repros," and I bought them, and I'd return them. I'm like garbage. Like you can tell that they're not the same. They're not the same. So I don't know the answer to that, but these are just a couple things I look for. The sizing is a big one when the movie came out versus what the sizes they're asking you. Are they saying they're originals? Are they double sided? That's always a good indicator that it's an original print. Those are the big things I look for when searching those things out. Yeah, baby. Did you see my Instagram post? I had that going. I loved that tune back in the day. Scratch, what's up? Um, I know what it is. It's one of two things. It's either I honestly am just tired and they're red. It could be my lighting, maybe. Like maybe the certain lighting, um, maybe the certain like settings I have on this light are throwing it off a little bit. Cause I have even noticed when I go back, sometimes I will be like, wow, my eyes do look red. And it could be the lighting, or because my camera's here. See, I'm looking at the camera and then I'm looking at the chat. So maybe me kind of looking down like this, maybe that throws it off. I don't know, but it's wild, dude. The Rad Man doesn't do that stuff. What up, Cruz? What up, Antonis? He says he's happy for Neve Campbell. All right. Um, oh, dude, you Mick Hara, man, is like he's kind of starting to like live the rad life a little bit. Like you could tell there's like a little bit of radness like coming out because he says, just got done tanning my oiled body, listening to Ascension Millennium, and now watching you in my speedo. I mean, besides the speedo thing, I've done all the other stuff he's talked about here. So in at some point in my life. So man, I'm happy you're here. Thank you. Thank you. Oh wow, that's a long time. I highly recommend it. They're my favorite Chucky dolls that I've seen. Yes, we did share. Now, the Rad Pack challenge, guys, it's still going on. We're sharing everybody's videos. As long as you tag us, that's the big thing. You have to tag us on Instagram, or I mean, not Instagram. You have to tag the Rad Pack Pod on YouTube in your description or in the title of the video. So then we get notified and we will share that for you guys. I've really limited my figure intake, but yeah, it's expensive. So on posters. I would assume we'd have to. Maybe now would be the perfect time. Joe Reese. Let me see. You son of a bitch. My man Eli. What up? Keem Spyglass got so scared of boycott they brought back Neve. Okay. You know what? This is a good segue. So anybody who said hi after this, I will get to, or hello, and we will get to some comments later. Hit the like button, guys. We have 65 people in here right now. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you are not. I am happy that you guys are here. Let's dive into this thing now. Okay, let's look at the article here. Let's take a look at what this is. We're going to look at Bloody Disgusting over here. Let's take a look at my boy over there. Johnny Squires wrote this article. So let's see what John has to say. John. Neve Campbell returning as Sidney Prescott in a new movie from director Kevin Williamson. Huge Scream 7 update has been announced by Neve Campbell this afternoon, with Campbell revealing that she'll be back as Sidney Prescott in the upcoming Spyglass sequel. Additionally, the original Scream scribe Kevin Williamson will direct the film, so he's the new director. Campbell writes on Instagram, "Hi all, I'm excited to announce the news. Sidney Prescott is coming back. It's always been such a blast and an honor to play Sidney in the Scream movies. My appreciation for these films were meant to me has never waned. I am proud to say I've been asked in the most respectful way to bring Sidney's character back to the screen, and I could. I am so incredibly lucky to make these films with both Master of Horror, Wes Craven, and wonderful, talented Matt and Tyler team. I've dreamt many years of how amazing it would be to be with Kevin Williamson." Okay, blah, 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 blah. Upcoming Scream 7, which currently untitled, was written by Guy Busick, which means from a story from James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick. You can check out. So I'm assuming Kevin is not writing it. Is that what it's telling me? He's directing it. So that's a big difference between some of the old stuff, right? The franchise has been mirrored to controversy the past 12 months, with new leads, Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega, both exiting the project. Barrera was fired, while it was subsequently announced that Ortega wouldn't be returning. In the wake of all that news, director Christopher Landon has departed off the project. Neve Campbell famously refused to return to Scream 6 due to pay dispute, but it sounds like Spyglass came to the terms with a stronger offer. With Campbell back and Williamson on the director's chair, Scream fans will likely lured back to the saga despite the cloud hanging over the proceedings after Barrera's unjust firing. Okay, there's there's the script, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Woo! That is a lot to unpack. Okay. So again, I breezed through it. Clearing my head. What do I think about this? Now, number one, do I like Scream? Do I like the franchise? Sure. Am I a huge diehard Scream fan? No. I like it. I've got some stuff displayed at the house. I've got a signed mask by Skeet. I've got the signed knife by holy shit. I'm losing my mind. What's the other dude's name? Matthew Lillard. I've got a signed phone from Neve Campbell. Like, I've got Scream related stuff. I like it. I was a teenager when that movie came out, so it was a big deal to me. I was like a young teen. Um, so Scream was a huge deal to me. It really kind of was got me more into horror movies, of course. It was one of the first rated R movies I saw in a theater. Um, so, Scream was important. Now, I've seen every Scream movie to this date in the theater. Will I see Scream 7 in the theater? Yeah, I will. But I'm just I'm a little exhausted of Scream, to be quite honest with you. Um, I will see it, but I am in no way like jumping for joy, all excited, giddy. No, and that's just me, guys. Like I just have specific movies, specific taste. Is this Neve Campbell coming back? Williamson at the head of this? Is that making me be like, oh my god, this is gonna be sick? No. I didn't think that the last two Screams were bad. I didn't think they were amazing, but I will say that at least Barrera, I thought she had improved drastically from Scream 5 to Scream 6, and I actually really liked her character in Scream 6, and I kinda wanted to see where this was going. So now that they're out, Sydney's in, it's almost like 5 and 6, unless they have some kind of way they're going to close that story. It's almost like those two movies are gonna be what, just the black sheep of the franchise now with an unfinished story? I don't know, but I would love the story to be finished. Like Cody Rhodes said, "Finish the story." I would like it to be finished. I'd like to know, like, what was supposed to happen? What was, Skeet's role going to be as her father? Like, these are things that I kinda want answers to. I honestly didn't miss Neve Campbell in the last one. I didn't, because I don't think she was that strong in part 5, and it's nothing against Neve Campbell. It's just that I'm just not that invested in it. So for her to be back, sure, it's cool. Do I think it's gonna be like this unbelievable movie? No. I think it's just gonna be another Scream movie, something that we've all seen before. Um, and I agree with Akeem. I agree that Spyglass knew that Scream was in the shitter. They knew that Scream makes money. They knew they needed to do something desperate because the fans were turning on it completely. So they gave Neve what she wanted and paid the money, um, and brought back Kevin to try to get these fans back, which again is a smart business move. But I think it was a desperation move, to be honest. I totally agree with him. They probably paid her an arm and a leg to come back. And this movie kind of has to be good for the amount of problems it had and what they probably forked over to get this thing moving again. So I don't know. I know I'm probably in the minority that says I really don't care anymore, and I will see it and give you an honest review of it. If it's great, hell yeah, cool. Another cool, great horror movie. Would I care to ever see another Scream movie in my life? No, I don't care. I don't need to see another Scream movie ever again. I'm just saying if it never came back, I'm fine. Like, I'm fine with that. I probably would like to have an ending to the thing, right? One more ending to this story, pull the mask off. Who's the higher power, And I still think I would love it if Stu was the higher power behind it all. Because if it's not him, then who the hell is it? And if it's just going to be someone random, then I feel like that kind of ruins the whole thing. Like, and that's been my biggest problem with the Scream movies is not necessarily the movie in general, but the reveals have been, in my opinion, shit for a while. And I'm hoping Scream 7 is the end. I'm really hoping it's the end. Give us a finale, tell us who's behind everything, have there be a cool motive, and end this damn thing and finish it off. That's what I want. I'm curious to see what you guys think. Does anybody agree with me? Are people like, no, Garrett, your Scream's the best? Let me know. I'll go back to the chat and then we'll talk about something else. But those are my thoughts on this whole thing. I don't care, really. It does nothing for me. It doesn't make me wanna see the movie more or less. I would have seen it anyways because I've always seen Scream in theaters. But it wasn't big news to me, to be honest. So let me go. Sorry guys. Let me try to Oh no, what happened? All right, can you guys see me? Let me know if you can see me and hear me. My camera keeps kicking out. Um, all right, people are saying right now that sorry, I definitely I poked the like button. I definitely lost my place here. Blu-ray Addict, I'm looking forward to Scream 7. We'll finally get Stu back also. Perhaps I would like that. Um, let me see. No, but you know what? He doesn't, but he's uh he's an OG in the horror space, and I'm actually really proud of where he is now because I just remember him from way back in the day as a horror fan, and he was a blogger. And he had a little Facebook group that we used to do buy and sells on, and it was a real cool group. And um, I've hung out with him couple times at horror conventions. We have mutual friends, I guess. And this was all pre me going to YouTube and stuff like that. But he's always been very nice to me. Um, but it's just cool to see kind of where he's at if you knew where he started, right? But he's a good dude. Um, what up, Brian? All right, Atana says he's not a diehard. Desperation, agree. Agree with Mikara. It would make sense. uh yeah, like that's the thing though. Like, sure, he can probably direct a good Scream movie, but he's got to work with someone else's script, which is a little bit different, right? So that's interesting. Um Let me see. I'm not complaining as long as the movies are enjoyable. So on Scream, I mean, again, if it's enjoyable, great. But um I like both franchises, I guess. I mean, they're not Scream and Saw aren't really movies that I go back and watch a lot. Like, dude, I'll tell you something about Saw. I haven't seen Saw X, and after part 3, I have zero recollection of like what happens in which movie until we get to like Spiral. I have no idea. And I saw every Saw movie in the theater but I haven't watched the Saw movies in probably 15 years maybe. Outside the first one. I probably haven't. Um, I mean, again, John, I'm in the same one. Like I'm not. I like it, but I'm not a huge like make or break with Scream. I like it, but it's hard because I keep saying I like it because if I say I'm not excited, then everybody says Garrett from Born to Be Rad hates Scream, right? So that's why you got to be very. That's why you have to be very cautious with your words on being on a thing like platform like YouTube or social media because there is no like there's just black and white, right? There is no shades of gray or anything like that. So I have to be very careful what I say because I do enjoy it. Like I said, I have Scream merch, Scream props, but I'm just exhausted with Scream the same way I'm exhausted with Saw. That's just me, I'm more into when it comes to modern stuff like something new, something different. Let's build something fresh. Um Let me see, guys. I'm sorry. I'm skipping a little bit here. Um, yeah, I kind of agree with you. Pumping out movie after movie as a franchise worked in the '80s because they were campy and fun, big budget commercialized. I kind of agree with that exactly. And that's the problem is like they're just going whatever makes money they're going to continue to do. I mean, that's what Hollywood does. And to be honest, I mean, whatever Hollywood, in my opinion, right now is I'm not. It's a shell of itself, in my opinion, a shell. So like the award shows and stuff, like I don't care about any of that. And again, you're talking about somebody who runs a channel about movies, but I'm very particular on the movies that I'm talking about here and stuff like that. I don't watch a lot of modern stuff. I think that Hollywood is not what it used to be. Um, I think there's a lot of problems there. I think, of course, they're going to grab whatever makes money nowadays because original content is not making a ton of money anymore. So they're going to do what works. And I don't know who to blame. I don't know, studios, writers, like where are these movies? All these big blockbuster money makers that they were making through the 80s and 90s and whatnot. So I don't know. Yeah, I would have rather had the finish to this story with or without Neve. If Neve wanted to jump into that finish of the story on that last part, cool. If not, no biggie. But I just don't like, and being a huge wrestling fan, I'm the same way. I don't like storylines that are unfinished. I don't like storylines that are scrapped because if you get invested in something a little bit, like a little bit, and there's no payoff or there's no finish, then that it just almost is like, why did I even give a shit? You know? And if that's the case and there's really no explanation to them, like, are they gonna do a scene where they're like killed off? Or are they just gonna try to ignore them and pretend like Ghostface went somewhere else and they just are never heard from again? If that's the case, it's like then Scream 5 and 6 are probably just gonna be like not even necessary to ever watch to connect the story. And that's my biggest problem with the Halloween franchise. I mean, Jesus, how many freaking timelines can you make like until it just becomes silly, right? It just becomes silly to me. I like the Halloween stuff, I do, but I don't like all these like changes of timelines and making up new stories to connect to the first one. I hate that. Um, I can agree with that. Fachi, come on, come on. What's up, my dude? Go check out Fachi Cinema. Um, let me see. Retro doesn't care about the sisters, but again, it's a loose end now. So regardless, love or hate him, it's a loose end, and it's just kind of unfortunate. Um, wow, look at this hot take, dude. He preferred My Soul to take over Scream. Oh my god. I mean, I love Craven. Actually, if it's a good time to plug it, if you guys haven't, I did a Wes Craven ranking a couple months ago. Go check that out, and then you get an idea of like what I feel about some of these movies. Like I'm trying to remember. Scream was like probably in the middle for me. Um, but I know most people would be like at the tippity top. I mean, they could, they could. Maybe that is what they're gonna do. I mean, listen, I'd rather have that than a random. I'll tell you that. Astro, what up, dude? Hanging out over on the Twitch ski. What's up, man? Um, okay, I'm good. Cool. Thank you. What up, Brian? Dylan. I will be honest. I would love to see Jason. Freddy, I don't care. I don't care about Freddy on the big screen because I think there's just when it comes to Freddy and having a new character in there, people can say, "Oh, give someone else a chance," and da, da, da. It might be good. I don't know. Freddy Krueger to me has a specific look. Freddy Krueger to me is Robert Englund. I mean, they can try, but I have a hard time probably separating the two personally. Um, but Jason, I'm cool with Jason and Michael Myers. I don't need another Halloween movie, but I'm saying I would love another Friday 13th. They're different than Freddy. You can slap a mask on anybody and it still gives you the same feel. Freddy, I think, is going to be a tough one. I really do. I don't care what anybody else says. I think that it's going to be a tough road for someone to replace Robert. So to me, give me the Elm Street series on a nice Blu-ray of 4K set. And if you leave it alone forever, I'm okay. I'm okay. Fuck, oh my god, when are they going to stop with this? And that's another thing that pisses me off about the Saw franchise It's like right when you think they're done, they're not done. So like when it comes to physical media, I legit haven't bought anything from Saw. I haven't seen Saw X. I haven't even bought it. I haven't watched it because in my head I'm like, I just want a box set with everything in there and then I can enjoy the franchise again. But now they're coming out with box sets knowingly that there's going to be another one. So one of my biggest peeves with physical media is like, hey, look, here's a box set of Saw 1 through 10 and then here's 11 by itself on the shelf. Like that's silliness. That's craziness. And they keep doing box sets and boxes. Box sets are nothing if there's movies missing. So I don't know. That's why I haven't bought anything from Saw in a long time because I'm like waiting for them to be friggin' somewhat finished with this story. I thought for sure we were going to get like, it was going to end and Spiral was going to like start its own thing, which I would have rather had happen because then I could say, okay, here's a box set of this timeline. Spiral's like a spinoff, so that's its own thing, right? But now like Saw 11, like I don't know, I'm done. Um, I haven't seen anything about these two movies, I don't think. Let me see. Scream 1 is important to me. I just enjoyed. I mean, it's an important movie. You know, like I said, I saw it at the right place, the right time. I was part of that teenage generation when that came out. I mean, it was huge. But it's again, it's not as a franchise, it's not one of my favorites. Exactly. Um, let me see. David. That's true. That's it. That is it. Jesse, do I have a Hulk Raider? No. Dude, that's a sick set though. I would love to have that in package. 100%. 100%. I don't. I mean, I talked about this at West from Dead Pit. I'm Blumhouse to me, as much as they're like the company that's pumping out horror and keeping it really going strong. I gotta respect that, but I was kind of excited for Night Swim and for Imaginary because it was like, ooh, two new movies that feel a little bit different. It's not a remake. It's not a reimagining. It's not a reboot. Cool. Like, let's see. And I was planning on seeing both in theaters until I heard the reviews. And it was almost like people are saying it was like the biggest garbage. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like every time we try to do something new, it's just junk. Like, what's the deal? So I'm falling a little bit behind. Like, I'm getting a little bit down on Blumhouse in the sense that it's like, what is this shit they're pumping out? Is it just to throw stuff out there? Is it half-assed? But when it comes to Friday the 13th, I think it's so hard to mess that movie up that I don't care who puts it out. Because when you think of Friday the 13th as a whole in the franchise, and I personally, that's my favorite of the big franchises. It really is. And it just always was as a kid. Do I think they're the best made movies? No. You know, I think Elm Street is probably the most well made of all the movies. But I think when it comes to Friday the 13th, they stick to what works and the formula that works. And it's like campers, slasher, have fun. And I feel like to me, it always worked. And it still works to this day. So to me, I even thought the remake was done well. I thought Derek Mears was a fantastic Jason. So if Blumhouse does it, stick to the story, right? Like you don't have to rehash the story like his mother did. I don't care what you do. You can make it a sequel to the remake. I don't care. But make sure we have a camp, counselors, Jason, and kills. I mean, I don't think you can really destroy it. Even if it's subpar, I think for what Friday the 13th is supposed to be, I think it'll be fun. I kind of agree with you. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's sad, you know? But I'll check them out once they come, you know, out on streaming and stuff like that. Or maybe I'll buy the physical media if it's cheap on like Black Friday or something. What up, Dynamite? Uh, I actually liked Thanksgiving though. I actually did like Thanksgiving. I really did. I did like Psycho Gorman. I thought Psycho Gorman was a real cool breath of fresh air. I really liked it. So I'm excited for that Death Stalker. I'll take that. It's different enough. Um, I agree. True. Brendan, what's up? Man, go check out Wet Movie One, another OG. I was just telling them that next week my last episode of Rad Company is with Danny Sinistalker. So make sure you tune back in next Tuesday night. Go check out Brandon over at Wet Movie One, another guy who I've been watching for, man, I don't know, 15 years probably. Um, 100%. 100%. All right. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, guys, and we have about 70 people in here. So make sure you're hitting that like button. Subscribe if you are not. I appreciate you guys being here. If you see that ticker on the bottom, I'm also part of a podcast called the Rad Pack. So you can find us on all audio platforms. Also, if you can find us on YouTube at Rad Pack Pod, we have some live shows coming up. Tomorrow, we are going to do a ranking for the Leprechaun franchise. So there's three of us as hosts. So we're each going to have our own ranking, and I'm sure we'll kind of debate back and forth where certain things are going and our each individual ranking. So it should be a fun one. And I would love for you guys to be there. So make sure you're subscribed over to the Rad Pack Pod and hit those notifications because we will be live tomorrow. And it's always a fun time when the Rad Pack gets together live. Yes, I'm excited to talk to Danny. Very excited to talk to Danny. Let me see. What up, D Show? All right. So, what I want to talk about is what's going on with the new Salem's Lot. So, Salem's Lot remake was actually filmed 2 hours north of me in a small town, and I had no idea until it was over. And people were showing me pictures where you could take pictures in front of, the Salem's Lot sign and all this other stuff. And man, I would have freaking loved to have done that because Salem's Lot is one of my all-time favorite horror movies. So now talking about the remake, what are my thoughts on that? Oh my God, they're remaking one of my all-time favorite horror movies, Salem's Lot. I'm excited. I have zero expectations. I know zero about the movie. I haven't seen a trailer, a still. I've seen nothing. I don't even know if anybody has. But what I love about Salem's Lot is I love the story. I think the story is a fantastic story. A writer goes up to Salem to write about some stuff, finds out there's someone there and they've got a vampire. It's just a real cool story. And I know a lot of people might be like, "Oh, Salem's Lot's boring because it's long and not a lot happens." But when it does happen, it's awesome. But I love that kind of horror. If a movie can keep my attention and invested for that many hours, 3.5 hours, they're doing something right. Salem's Lot is a movie that I can put on at any time and be like working and it's on in the background and me just be at peace having it there. There's something about Salem's Lot, the tone of the movie. And you know what other movies make me feel the same way? The Fog, Phantasm. These movies that there's a certain tone of the movie that just really works with me. Even I would even say Fright Night could kind of fit into that boat. But Salem's Lot, I'm excited for it. Now, if it's god awful, terrible, horrible, and that's why it's gotten the treatment it has, then I'll be a little disappointed and I'll be like, it is what it is. I still have the original. I don't expect it to be better than the original. I don't. I expect it to be a cool, similar story with maybe some new elements to it. That's what I'm hoping for. So we just got news that it was supposed to be debuted 2 years ago. Then it got bumped. It was supposed to come out next year, last year. It got bumped again. Then they were talking about canceling it completely, getting like a tax write-off, like they did with like, I don't know, the Wile E. Coyote movie, Batgirl or whatever they did. I forget what movie it was. They did all that to tax write off. So basically, all these they filmed a movie with all these people and they just wrote it off as so it basically never exists. Now I'm sure at some point those movies are going to be so wanted and sought after, like we want those cuts, and maybe they'll come out someday. I don't know, but we just found out today that Salem's Lot is going to be put on demand, and it's going to be like an HBO Max exclusive. Now, would I rather had it in theaters? Sure, I guess. But you got to remember, Salem's Lot originally gained so much fanfare because it was a made for TV movie here in the States. So if I have to sit home and watch the remake of Salem's Lot, I'm perfectly okay with that. I'll get the experience on my couch like the people did back in the 70s when they saw it for the first time. And I'm fine with that. I just want this damn thing to come out. That's all. Again, I know nothing about it. The only thing I do know is Stephen King said he saw it and he liked it. Now, do I take everything Stephen King says and be like, it's gold? No. But he said it's a slow burn horror movie with a good payoff. And that's enough for me. A slow burn horror movie with a good payoff. I'm down with that because I don't feel like we get enough slow burn horror movies in modern times anymore. Everything is so in your face, loud noises, jump scares. I don't care for that stuff. You know, there's movies that have been slow burn horror movies that I love, Hereditary, Midsummer. I feel like those are great slow burn modern horror movies with good payoffs. And when shit gets crazy, it gets crazy. And that's what I like about those movies. I mean, you could even say X in a way. Um, you could even say things like Nope could be fit into that category, maybe. But I like that kind of stuff if it's done right. So I'm excited for Salem's Lot. I really am. And I don't care that it's coming to Max. I just didn't want this thing to be canceled and never see the light of day because I'm curious. I'm intrigued and curious what they're going to do with this story. Um, like I said, I would never go into it thinking we're going to get anything better than the original. I just hope that we get something entertaining and interesting. That's all. So, guys, I am sure when it comes to everything I talked about today, Neve Campbell and Scream, Salem's Lot, and I'd be more excited about Salem's Lot coming to HBO Max. I mean, I'm probably a minority when it comes to these topics right now. So I'm probably a minority when it comes to these topics right now. But that's just my honest opinion. And every time I do the show, I want to be honest with you guys. I don't want to tell you what I think you want to hear, because there's going to be plenty of people out there with the same mindset that I have. And if they go on everybody's channel and everybody's talking the opposite, then they're like, oh, nobody, why am I so different than everybody else? Well, you're here to hear first because I'm more excited about Salem's Lot than I am Scream. Will I watch both? Absolutely. Is it good for horror? Yes. But when it comes to the news, which ones intrigue me more? It's cool. I get to see Salem's Lot. So again, let me know what you guys think. Let's talk a little bit. My internet is acting a little buggy, which is very interesting. I don't know why. It's been windy here. It could be that. But and I also have an update on this computer. It could be that. But I'm gonna just chat with you guys and then just hopefully finish things up. Let's see. Tiana, what up, kid? How are you? Go check out Tiana Loves Movies. Yeah, Salem's Lot is not getting a theatrical release. Well, I was on a show on Wet Movies Channel with Michael Ray Bauer, and I forced him to talk to me about the Willies. It was on like New Year's Eve one year, a couple years ago. Retro. Love the original Salem's Lot, but I really hope the remake has a Nosferatu style bar. Um, True. I hope so too. I hope so too. But you know how these go. These movies that come out are like, it's different because we followed the book, right? So that's the excuse. We followed the book. That's why it feels different. So maybe they do, but I hope you're right as well. 100%. I would recommend anybody going to check out Salem's Lot. But again, I understand when people, because I have heard people say, "Oh, why would you recommend this to me? It's so damn slow." I don't know. It's just the kind of horror I like, I guess. It's all about the tone, baby. It's all about the tone here, the tone of the movies. Let's see. He might. It is a mess, dude. A lot of these companies seem like they're a mess. Um, This is a good quote. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst, although it does seem Stephen King content. Yeah, so that's a good way to look at it for sure. Um, I see. I didn't even realize that James Wan was producing this or had a hand in it. Well, I mean, that's a little bit positive. I don't know what the issue has been. I really don't because it seemed like most people were excited about it. And what's even crazier is I've seen merch at FYE for the new Salem's Lot movie that must have got put out by accident early when the movie was supposed to be out. So there seems like there was a little bit of oomph behind this. I don't know what happened. But at the same time, when you look at something like Batgirl and Wile E. Coyote, like those are pretty big names that you'd think that if something was going to get scrapped, it wouldn't have been something to that extent. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I kind of agree exactly with that. I kind of agree exactly with that. I'm sure they don't have faith in it. I'm sure they don't because if they did, they would. To me, it didn't make any sense that they wouldn't put it out unless they were looking at every year and they're like, when would be the most sense to put this out? Oh my god, this is going to be out. It can't battle with Saw. It can't do this. Who knows? Um, I actually do like the Return to Salem's Lot. I do. It's different, but I like it in its own way. Oh, 1000%. Blue, I highly recommend you checking it out. But it's so long that you really need to find a day where you're like, it's raining out, you got nothing to do, pop it on, get some food because it's a long movie. It's like, I don't know, when it came out on cable or whatever, it was like a 2-night affair. I mean, it's got to be 3.5 to 4 hours. Um, let me see. Sorry guys, my computer's acting a little bit weird. Phil from Pantera had a movie called Festival called House Kohar. Interesting. I did not know that. Um, I mean, it's good. The source material is great. So, Twisted's making a horror film. And Thomas, I recommend it. But again, if I don't know your style of horror movies, it's hard for me to really say you're gonna love it. But I think it's a masterpiece personally, and I know a lot of people that like it do. But I get that it does. You gotta like a certain type of horror, 70s horror, perhaps. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I did not, but I didn't like the Batman, so I probably wouldn't even watch this one. I mean, maybe I'd watch it at some point, but it's not one I'd be rushing out to get. Um, yeah, me too. From what I heard, this movie is not good. That's why. I mean, again, I never heard it wasn't good. I haven't really heard anything about it. I actually heard Stephen King said he liked it a lot, and he doesn't understand the problem. He doesn't understand why they're hesitant about putting it out. Maybe because it's a slow burn horror. Maybe he said it feels throwback. It's slow burn with a good payoff. And if that's the case, maybe they having cold feet because everything now has to be in your face. Everything now has to be um what's the word I'm looking for, like um quick fix, right? And maybe that's why they're afraid. Maybe it's not necessarily bad, but maybe they're afraid that it just might not work with kids these days. Yes, he did. There he is. Go check out Danny at Sinistalker. He is the next guest on Rad Company. Danny, what's up, man? Thank you for popping on in. I appreciate that, my man. Um, okay, so 3 hours and 2 minutes, which, to be honest, nowadays is not crazy, right? It was crazy back then, but now it's not the craziest. Um, yeah, like it's not. I wouldn't say it's not like a slasher. Um, it's almost kind of like I don't know. To me, it kind of like a mystery esque. Um, I don't know. It's hard to really explain. It's a vampire movie, but there's a lot that happens before you kind of figure out what's going on. Um, So yeah, go subscribe to Danny over at Cinestalker. Check out his content if you're not. Like I said, he's an OG in this space, and he's always putting out great shit. And we're going to talk about all the different stuff he does over there when he's on the show because I like a lot of the stuff he does is a lot of stuff that I am into. Right? We'll talk about that for sure. But guys, I don't want to be on too long. Like I said, I've had probably 6 hours, 7 hours of sleep in 2 days, so I'm exhausted. But you guys keep me fired up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not. Make sure you're checking out the Rad Pack tomorrow night for our live show. And follow me on all social media, Born to be Rad. Guys, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight live and coming into the replay and checking this out. Let me know in the comments down below what you feel about what's going on with Neve, Campbell, and Scream. Are you excited? Let me know what you think about Salem's Lot. Again, like I said, to me, my biggest thing is that it's coming out. Let me know if you're interested in it, if it's something you could care less about. Do you wish they would have just scrapped it? I'm curious to know what you guys think when it comes to that. So again, guys, thank you so much for hanging with me for tonight's Rad Report. I'll be back soon with more content. This is Garrett at Born to be Rad, and like always, stay.